Come closer. I want to tell you a story. This is the story of two very good friends who had a lot of things in common. Number one, they were both family men. Number two, they were both jobless. Number three, they were both gamblers. These guys, they go from one Baba Ijebu Lotto store to another. They go from one coupon pools house to another, palming 3 from 4 and napping 3 lines. They go from one Bet Naija shop to Naira Bet shop, playing over and under 1.5 goals half-time, full-time. Their wives from their petty trades were the breadwinners. Imagine women being the breadwinners of full-grown men. These men were playing coupon and gambling up and down. Luck now decided, Luck was in a good mood. Luck decided to smile on them. Let me pity them after all these years of joblessness. They now played the same games. They staked 100 naira each on those games. Football betting. And luckily for them, the games entered. Plenty of games. They were just lucky. They won 10 million naira each. Now come closer. Let me tell you how each man spent his 10 million naira. Because money had arrived now. Each man decided to do with their money all the things that they had been yearning for. Okay? Now, the first guy decided to follow the advice of the society. There's something about my society in Africa. If you are a grown-up man and you have not built a house that you and your family live in, you have not arrived. You are a poor man. No matter the amount of money you have. See, owning a house, being a landlord is the yardstick people use to measure prosperity in my part of Africa. This guy decided to follow the bandwagon and say, well, a house is an asset. Every other thing is a liability. Let me buy a house. He had 10 million naira. So he put a call across to all the agents that he knew. Oh boy, I want to buy a house, 10 million naira. The agent told him, the cost of building materials is very high. Oh. For you to see a house of 10 million, what are you looking for? He said a 3-bedroom apartment. 3-bedroom apartment of 10 million. There's a lot of work you need to do there. Oh. Probably the roofs will be leaking, the plumbing may be bad, and it's going to be a distress sale. He said, look for it. I just want to be a landlord. The agent, after a few weeks, calls him up to say, I found a house, an old family house, inherited by one guy. The guy had already relocated abroad and he wants to sell it. 10 million. This guy paid and he became the latest landlord in town. This guy originally was a proud person. His pride became Pro Max now, times 100. He added 2 foams to his shoulder. He now raises shoulder. Society started celebrating him. LLIT, latest landlord in town. Wow. So when they call landlord meeting now, the guy is always there, very aggressive. Living in a dilapidated 3-bedroom apartment, he's always insulting duplex owners at landlord meeting. Don't talk to me like that. Don't talk to me like that. We are co-landlords. Hello. He started attending landlord meeting. Let's talk about his other friend that won 10 million. What did that one decide to do with his money? He decided to buy a car. What? You want to go and buy a car? The guy went to the nearest car shop and said, car dealer, come over. I want to buy a Toyota Corolla 2005 model. If you know anything about cars, you will know that Toyota Corolla 2005 model, fuel efficient, rugged, durable. And this type that he wanted to buy, this particular one, was of a very, very good condition. Almost new. How much is it? Car dealer told him 3.5 million naira. He looked. He called the car dealer aside and said, this car, how much would you sell 3 for me? The car dealer said, do the maths. That's 10.5 million naira. He said, no. If you would sell 3 for me at the rate of 10 million, I'll pay cash now. The secretary working with the car dealer overheard and drew the car dealer aside. Oga, you are owing salary for 3 months. So You know car business, we don't make sales every day. For the past 6 months, we have not sold a single car. Sell this car for this man. Oh. Car dealer said, oh boy, bring the money. The cars are yours. The guy bought 3 Toyota Corolla 2005 models. Blue, yellow, black. 3 different colors. You know what this guy did? Let me get my calculator. He told himself, I am jobless, but I know how to drive. Let me start this boat, Uber business, and be driving this car. Yes, if you know anything about Uber, Taxify, you know that at the end of the day, after all expenses, those guys go home with at least 10,000 naira per day. They could make even more if the surge is high. But let's put it at 10,000 naira per day. That in a month is 10 times 30. That is 300,000 naira per month that this guy was making. When you are jobless, you have jobless people around you as well. So he called 2 of his co-jobless people and said, can you drive? This one said yes. Can you drive? That one said yes. You know what? I'm giving you both each a Toyota Corolla. You are to be paying me weekly remittances of 50,000 naira each. Both of them to be paying him 100,000 naira weekly. In a month, that's how much? 400,000. Add that to the 300,000 he's making monthly by driving one by himself. We are looking at 700,000 naira monthly. Multiply that by a year. If they continue doing this for a year, 8.4 million naira annually. Now, let's take this to 3 years. You're looking at 25.2 million naira after 3 years. Do you know why this guy put it at 3 years? The cars he bought for this Taxify Uber business, they are in good condition. And it's after 3 years, they may start to be giving mechanical complications. So he decided that, you know what, after 3 years, let him sell those cars. Now, those cars had fetched him 25.2 million. Now, Toyota Corollas, they have very good second-hand value. And when the guy put up these cars for sale, he was still able to get 2 million naira on each one. That is a total of 6 million. Add that to the 25.2 million the car had already fetched, we are looking at 31.2 million naira. You see, from this 31.2 million, he went back to that same car dealer, bought another set of 3 Toyota Corollas, minus at the rate of 10 million. Okay, what he had left now was 21.2 million. And you know what this guy now did? So that he too can become a landlord, he bought a house of 20 million naira that came with a 3-bedroom apartment for him and his family and 2 self-contains at the back, which he put tenants for 20 million. Inside the 20 million, after spending that 20 million, he still had 1.2 million naira left from that money, with which he now used to open a big provision store for his wife. Please, guys, who is the smarter of these 2 people? One, in his bid to jump on the bandwagon, became a hungry landlord. You people should check on that guy and his family, because he spent all his money to buy that house. Him and his family must have opened their mouths now for manna to fall from heaven into their mouth. Sure, they say house is a very good asset, yes, and that cars are liabilities. Let me tell you something real quickly. There is no material thing in this world that is either an asset or a liability by default. It all depends on what you use them for. How you utilize things determines whether they be an asset or a liability. See, let me tell you, whatever it is that does not put money into your pocket but takes money out of it is a liability, including your house that you live in that has no tenants. That house is not paying you anything in return. But when the roof is leaking during the rainy season, you get a carpenter to fix it and you pay. It takes money out of your pocket. When the grass in your compound is overgrown, you call boys to clear it and you pay them. It takes money out of your pocket. Breaking news, your house that you live in is a liability. But you see that car that takes me to the office, takes my family to the church on Sundays, and also when I close from work, I use it to do taxi and it puts money into my pocket. That car is an asset. a better asset than that house. Okay? And even when we are talking about liquidity, say, okay, I need money urgently. Maybe somebody needs urgent medical attention. They are about to die. How to convert house to money? Put a house for sale. 2 years, you have not seen a buyer. Oh, yes. But if it's something like a car, you find a buyer quicker for a car than a house. You find a buyer quicker for gold and jewelry more than a house. The hype on houses is just too much. And a lot of people are making financial mistakes just because they want to suit into the narrative that the society is pushing. Finally, let me tell you, there are some tenants that own houses that are landlords. There are tenants that are landlords already. Okay? Because they are following that simple business principle. Create investments first, so that you now use your investments to fund your liabilities. They know that if they built a house and be living in it, that house is a liability. So what do? They use the money they have to build houses, put it up for rent. They are collecting rent. They remain as tenants. Then their rent, they are using it to build the house that they will live in, which is a liability. Your investment should fund your liability. A lot of people don't know. A rich tenant is better than a hungry landlord.